Well, here we are again. The mics are back on, and this is Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is Jeffrey Davis, and when I'm not in Radio Entrepreneurs or on Radio Entrepreneurs, I'm doing my full-time job, and that's as CEO and founder of MAGE LLC, management consulting firm. Very proud to say, since 1985, although some people debate my dating on time, so it's been an interesting ride. Our next guest is Eric Anderson, President, Cummings Properties. Well, I think everybody in New England knows about Cummings Properties. Am I wrong?
We still bump into quite a few people who haven't heard of us. So,
really?
Yeah, I think we're the proverbial big fish in a little pond. So, if you grew up or live or work in the Woburn area or anywhere up on the North Shore, north and west of Boston along Route 128, you're probably pretty familiar with us. But
or we've probably been in your buildings at least once.
I hope.
Right.
And hopefully you were impressed and pleased with the experience.
Or don't think about the experience, which means it's a good experience.
Even better, yes.
Isn't that true?
It is, absolutely.
So tell us about Cummings Properties, a little bit about the history, because you brought a book with a picture of someone who clearly is much better looking than you on it.
He absolutely is. He's a lot smarter, taller, everything. He's the whole package.
Yeah.
Actually, he is the real deal, though. This is a book that was written by our founder, Bill Cummings. He founded the firm 50 years ago in 1970. And has just had an extraordinary career in commercial real estate. And he put this book together with some encouragement. And he describes it as a book about business and entrepreneurship that masquerades itself as an autobiography. And it's a true autobiography. He wrote the book, and it really tells the Cummings story. But there's a lot of tidbits and nuggets of information in here that are very helpful to anyone in business, really.
Interesting. So tell us, how did you meet Mr. Did you know Mr. Cummings? Do you know Mr. Cummings?
I know him quite well.
Tell us about your experience with him. How did you meet him, and how did you develop within the company? Because now you're president. So clearly he likes you somewhat.
I hope so.
Didn't know I was going there, did you?
No, I didn't. So
that's good. It
let's
worked.
See how I can answer this. But no, I started with the company just over 20 years ago. Out of college, I had a quick stint in New York in finance, and very quickly realized that wasn't my thing, and wanted to get into commercial real estate, and had wanted to for quite a while, and met with dozens and dozens of companies, hoping someone would offer me a job, and finally someone gave me some good advice, and that was to go knock on the door of that guy, Bill Cummings. He hires a bunch of people. So I went in, interviewed, was not going to be offered a position, but unbeknownst to me at the time, Bill was kind of looking in the conference room as we were meeting, and while the person I was meeting with was thinking, no, not here, you're not the right fit, Bill was doing one of his nods, like, bring him in, let's find a way. So fortunately, I was given that opportunity, and we seem to have clicked and have enjoyed working with one another for the past 20 years. I think he's enjoyed working with me.
Did you have big ambitions, visions for your future there when you first got there?
No. When I first walked in to the company, I didn't think I was going to be there very long at all. I thought it was going to be a quick stop, just a resume builder, and then move on, so I could be the next Bill Cummings. I walked in. The office was pretty simple, pretty unimpressive. I didn't think it was a very successful company.
Very New England, I would say.
Yep, very New England.
Yeah.
And I was pretty much convinced that it probably wasn't the real deal, and probably not a place where I would lay down roots or spread my roots. So take a few years, get some experience, and move on. But 20 plus years later, I'm still there, still learning every day, and having a lot of fun doing it.
So Cummings has a big footprint in New England. Talk to us about the footprint and what makes it unique.
Sure. Well, it is a big footprint, but again, as we discussed earlier, it's very local, and it's not even New England. It's really all in Massachusetts. We've got 10 million square feet in 11 communities, all north and west of Boston, and east of Boston as well, northeast of Boston. And we've got about just under 100 properties in those 11 communities, all types of buildings, office buildings, medical office buildings, warehouse buildings, flex, warehouse, R&D, really a great variety of product across those 11 communities, and have really catered our business to the small and medium-sized businesses. We do a lot with some larger companies. We've got a number of very large clients, but our bread and butter are really the small and medium-sized companies, and really catering to the entrepreneurs. That's what we've been about.
Interesting. But again, if I had never heard of Cummings, and I said, what makes it special? Could you sort of talk about that a
Sure.
little bit?
I guess, well, when you want to talk about special, I think probably the one thing that differentiates us from most everyone else is the fact that everything we do is for the benefit of Cummings Foundation, which is one of the largest foundations here in New England. Every single one of the buildings, or most every single one of the buildings leased and managed by Cummings Properties is leased and managed for the benefit of Cummings Foundation. So what that means is basically 100% of the rental profits from these properties goes directly to Cummings Foundation, which in turn donates millions, really tens of millions of dollars each year to hundreds of mostly small, very local charities here in northeastern Massachusetts, specifically in
Well, that's
Middlesex.
unique.
Yeah, it's pretty unique, and to use your word, special.
Right.
We're not aware of anyone that does anything anywhere near this scale. We're not always the largest corporate contributor, but we're frequently at the top of the list, and it's probably worth noting that we don't aspire to be at the top of that list.
Right.
We're going to do what we're going to do, but we became a little bit more public about our giving because we thought it would serve as a good example for others that want to do more and should do more and give more.
I think that's very nice. So how do you decide every year, not how much, but what to do with the money? Is there a process, or is it based, I always find that interesting with these foundations.
Yeah.
I just met with a foundation last month, one of the bigger ones in New England, and it was very interesting to hear their lack of structure.
Yep.
And when, if Dad walks in with a special thought, that's what Dad gets. This was another foundation.
Yeah. Okay. There very much is a process, and that process is constantly evolving and changing. I shouldn't say changing; it's really more the evolution. But it's probably worth pointing out that the foundation has one employee, unlike a lot of foundations that have dozens, even hundreds of employees. We've got one, and it's the executive director, and the rest are volunteers. There's a lot of volunteers within the organization, Cummings Properties, that volunteer their time on a pro bono basis. And then there's 70 community volunteers. And what we'd like to do is let them make a lot of the tough decisions for us. But it's important to have a process because otherwise you get a lot of inquiries and a lot of people, a lot of great causes and a lot of great
There are
places.
a lot of causes out there.
There are.
Yeah.
There are, but you need to have a system, you need to have a process in place so you can give it out responsibly. And we've been very responsible in how we've run the business and how we've grown the foundation. And when we give this money out and invest it in the communities, we want to make sure we're getting the maximum return and doing the most good.
Now, again, this doesn't necessarily, I think most people understand this, but just in case they're listening, they don't. Even though you give away the profits every year in the foundation, doesn't mean the business doesn't get more valuable with its investments every year, because the business can grow substantially, reinvest in itself. It's the profits you're dealing with. So you can be getting wealthier, more powerful as you're giving back, correct? And that's the model, isn't it?
Yeah, we're really trying to grow the foundation. We're business people. And again, I work for Cummings Properties. So my priority is making sure that we're growing opportunistically and strategically, and we don't have any set mile markers. Like we've got to get to X square feet or have X dollars in revenue in a given year. We're just trying to maximize it all. And if there's an opportunity, we'll expand when the market allows it, and then we'll look to fill those buildings up and get the best deals we possibly can in those buildings. So we're constantly trying to increase revenues because that's going to increase our profitability and allow us to put more back into the foundation and do more good in the communities.
So how long have you been president?
A little over a year now, so still figuring
Did
it
you
all
know
out.
it was coming?
I did.
All right. Any apprehension post?
I'd be lying if I said no. But a lot of that's overshadowed by the excitement and the adventure of it all. It's a substantial organization. We employ 370 regular full-time employees, and it's a huge responsibility. Fortunately, I have tremendous amount of help from our senior management team and really all of those 370 regular full-time employees. So I need to make sure that we do right by them, we do right by the community, and we do right by Bill, who dedicated his life to building this organization.
Great. We've been speaking with Eric Anderson, president of Cummings Properties. Eric, not only would I like you to tell me how we can find Cummings Properties if people are looking for it, but also how they can find the book if they're interested in it.
Oh, sure. Actually, you could find all of us as well as the book online at Cummings.com. You can certainly reach out to me anytime. Our office number is 781-935-8000. My direct line is 781-932-7038. And if you call me, you will get me. We're an extremely accessible organization, both to clients, prospects, anyone that's looking to reach out to us. So encourage anyone that's got an interest in leasing space in the greater Boston area to give us a call and take, I guess, get some peace of mind knowing that all that money that they're paying towards rent is going to a great cause. And as far as the book, again, that's available on the website as well as on Amazon.
Great. Thanks for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, my name is Jeffrey Davis. We'll be right back with more stories on Radio Entrepreneurs.